Okay, yeah, so good morning. Today we just proceed with our series on classification. Today will be classification 5 and 6 that includes the higher invertebrates. So, in the last lecture, we've discussed the lower invertebrates, the likes of Porifera, Coelenterata, Plateomyces, Nematoda, Annelida, Mollusca, Arthropoda, and Echinodermata. So, today we are entering chordata, but inside chordata there are what? Invertebrate chordates, and there are also vertebrate chordates. So the invertebrate chordates here, they are what we refer to as the higher invertebrates. Shake then the vertebrate chordates are now the what? Normal vertebrates. So moving on. Okay, then in the vertebrates, basically we have the param, Param. So the Pisces, amphibians, reptilians, apes, and mammals. Let's note that. So moving on. So phylum Chordata belongs to the kingdom Animalia, and you know already that these phylums are kind of coming from the first guy there, the phylum Porifera. Then here we have phylum Chordata, and phylum Chordata belongs to the kingdom Animalia and includes what? All the vertebrates, like all the vertebrates you have, and also several invertebrates. I think I just mentioned that you have the vertebrate chordate and the invertebrate chordate. So that's the idea. They possess a bilaterally symmetrical body. So what I want you guys to now link up now is okay. Starting, I want to take the phylums in the kingdom Animalia generally. You will notice that the first phylum there, which is Porifera, it is asymmetrical. The second phylum there, which is Coelenterata, is radially symmetrical. Then coming from Plateomyces down, they are bilaterally symmetrical. Although echinodermata is also radially symmetrical, it's just like an exception. But you notice that bilateral symmetry is the second, is like a trend. The asymmetry is like a trend from asymmetrical to radial symmetry, then to bilateral symmetry. Do you get my point? So chordates are also what? Having bilaterally symmetrical body. So and they are divided into two subphyla. So we have the Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. Actually, I forgot to mention this. The chordata is as a result of the name chordata is actually coming from do they have notochord or not? Shake it. Notochord is what we are using here, and notochord is let me put it this way. Notochord is a structure that develops in all chordates. Shake it. So in some chordates, that notochord basically is supposed to disappear. Let me just put it that way. In fact, the notochord is what gave rise to our vertebral column. Do you get my point? That's the work of the notochord. So it's majorly supposed to kind of disappear or something, but in some cases the thing was disappearing, but it remains in the head region. It does not totally disappear. There are still some part of it in the head region. And don't forget, I mentioned to you guys that the head is kind of what uh, in biology there's something called cephalization. Cephalization is the concentration of the sense organ in a particular region of the body. So if I take cephalization like that in human beings, like it's like I'm defining the head. Sure you get. So if your notochord remains in the head, that's why they call them what? Cephalochordata. While if it remains in the tail region, that's the urochordata. So let's note that. Then the vertebrata, those guys, the notochord has kind of disappeared. Then we now have the vertebral colon. Those are the vertebrata. Moving on. So the characteristics of phylum chordata. So number one is notochord. So look at the notochord now. It's a longitudinal cartilaginous rod running between the nerve cords and the digestive tract. It acts as support for the nerve cord and is replaced by the vertebral colon after embryonic stage in all vertebrates. In all vertebrates, it is replaced by what? The vertebral colon. Then another characteristic is the dorsal nerve cord. It's a bundle of nerves running along the back and split into the brain and spinal cord. It is hollow and lie dorsal to the notochord. When they say dorsal, they are referring to the back, like backward. That's the meaning. So dorsal nerve cord is actually what gives rise to the brain and the spinal cord in us. Some people do some I don't know if it's people. Some organism does not have these things we are talking about here. So they just still have their what doesn't have cord. They don't have the brain or the spinal cord separately like that. That's the idea. That's the pharyngeal slit. So they are the openings which allow the entry of water through the mouth without entering the digestive system. They connect mouth and throat. All chordates have this opening on the lateral side of the pharynx at some stage at their life, all chordates, including the invertebrate chordate and the vertebrate chordate. So post-anal tail. It is an extension of the body to the anus. In chordates, the tail is composed of skeletal muscles which help in locomotion in fish-like species. It is absent in most of the adult chordates, just like in us. Then we cannot say it's totally absent in us, but it's not prominent. Sure you get. But look at something like frog too. They don't have it. That's why they are in the Anora. Okay, we are going to see all this. So characteristics of phylum chordate. So other characters they are bilateral symmetrical, they are triploblastic. Okay, let me quickly talk about this too. So this idea of you have diploblastic and triploblastic is actually coming from um the germ layers. The germ layers. So some are there that they have just two germ layers, which is just the endoderm and the ectoderm. But if you are triploblastic, means you're having three germ layers: endoderm, mesoderm, and ectoderm. So that's the idea. So and your peripherals guys, they are kind of just diploblastic coming down. It is when you are as an arm proceeding downward, you start seeing what triploblasticity in organisms. Okay, the body design is complex and well differentiated. Of course, the body has an organ system level of organization. When I say organ system, I mean system. System in the aspect of respiratory system, digestive system, and co. So moving on. So classification of the phylum Chordata. So phylum Chordata is classified into three subphyla, namely Urochordata. I think I've explained this. So the Cephalochordata, the Urochordata are the tunicates, Cephalochordata are the lancelets, Vertebrata are the vertebrates. So the subphylum Urochordata and Cephalochordata are collectively known as protochordates, which are marine animals. They are invertebrates, but they share attributes of what? Of chordates. What is that attribute? They have the notochord, they have the nerve cord, doesn't have cord. All these guys, do you get my point? So the Urochordata now. So the adults are fixed into substratum. It is also known as tunicate because of the body of an adult enclosed within a tunic made up of cellulose-like substance known as tunicin. You know why they call them tunicates now? Because what the although these guys, this particular urochordata and cephalochordata might not be so necessary to you guys, they might not ask you guys in exam, but it's something very important you have to know. So that's the idea. So notochord can be seen only on the larval stage and disappears in adults. I think I told you guys that. So the nerve cord present in larva is replaced by dorsal ganglion in adults. Although don't forget, they said notochord cord can be seen only in the larval stage and disappears in the adults. So you get, although some part of it still remains in the what tail region. That's the idea. The larva can move and undergoes metamorphosis. What's metamorphosis? Stages of growth. So example here is Acidia, Sapa, and Doliolo. You don't need to bore yourself with this. Just know that there is something called urochordata. Moving on. Cephalochordata now. The atrium is present. You know what an atrium is? Motile adult and larval stage. They have those two stages. The tail is present throughout life. They show progressive metamorphosis. The notochord is found throughout life. In the where now? The head region. Numerous well-developed pharyngeal slits are present. That's the idea. The lancelet possess the notochord and nerve throughout their life. However, they lack the brain and bony vertebral column like branchiosoma. They just take it away. All you just need to know here is that okay, the cephalochordata guys, they have their notochord remaining throughout their life in the what in the head region. Sure you get. That's just enough. And they are what invertebrate chordates. Moving on. So coming to the vertebrata now, that is what actually concerns us the most. So the characteristic features of vertebrates include, so when we talk about characteristic feature of vertebrates, like how do we know this is a vertebrate? Number one, they have the vertebral column. So these are advanced condyles with cranium around the brain. Nice one. That means they already have their brain. The notochord is replaced by a vertebral column in adults. This is why it is said that all vertebrates are chordate, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Sure you get. All vertebrates are chordate in the sense that they are chordate because they once have what? Notochord, and that notochord was replaced by what? Vertebral column. But not all chordate in the aspect of what? um urochordata and cephalochordata. Those guys are not what? Vertebrates. The high degree of cephalization is observed. You know what cephalization is now? Concentration of what the sense organs in what a particular region of the body. As your hearing, you know what the sense organs are. So that's the head, formation of head. Yeah. The epidermis is multi-layered. It consists of three types of muscle stripes, unstriped and cardiac. That's the types of muscles they have. The striped muscle or striated muscles, the unstriped muscles or unstriated muscles, then the cardiac muscles. Unstriped muscles are the smooth muscles. They have a well-developed cilium. The alimentary canal is complete. Normal, they have the mouth, they have the anus. The heart is three or four chambers, although in some it is two. It is two in some. They have well-developed respiratory and excretory system. Endocrine glands are present in all. That's the hormone glands. They are unisexual and reproduce sexually. Hagfish is an exception. But let's move on. So we now have the vertebrata classes. We have the cyclostomata, chondrichitis, osteoarthritis, amphibians, reptilia, aves, and mammals. You will notice that aesthetic cyclostomata, that doesn't concern us. So that's why I just leave it out. But let's move on with our chondrichitis. So chondrichitis and osteoarthritis, they are just fishes. So they belong to the Pisces. So while amphibians, reptiles, aves, and mammals, they are not the next one. So that's why chondrichitis, they're actually chondrochites, cartilaginous fishes, osteochites, um, bony fishes. So they are both Pisces. Why the other? We cannot say P-E-R-A-M, param. Don't forget that name. And it must be in that order. She get. Although you cannot even say Koharam anyhow. So you know that chondrochitis and osteochitis are kind of Pisces. They are both fishes. Okay, so chondrochitis now. Chondrochitis is a class of jawed fishes having a cartilaginous. Actually, when you come to the whole let me just put it this way: the whole chordata this thing, she get. You have the jawless fishes and the jawed fishes. So the jawless fishes are called agnatas, while the jawed fishes are called gnatostomata. Gnatostomata, I think it should be somewhere. Okay, gnatostomata. Just know that jawed fishes are called what? Gnatostomata. Let me, so that you know how to spell it too. Let me edit that. Incoming. They are jawed fishes. Gnatostomata. So that's very important to know. Gnatostomata. Maybe the word gnat means jaw. So you get. So the agnatans now, agnata, like agnata, they don't have the jaw. So you get, that's the idea. So the class includes diverse group of fishes, including shark, rays, skates, and chimeras. They are mostly marine fishes. It is life is always starting with marine. Just note that. Then the other group of fishes are bony fishes, which are included in the class of Osteochitis. We are still going to look at this. So the classification of the chondrichitis now is a class. Okay, I wrote it here. Chondrichitis is a class of fishes included in the division Granthostomata as they have jaws. She get. So jawed fishes are called what? They are kind of Granthostomata. Then the division Granthostomata includes all vertebrates having jaws. So Granthostomata is divided into superclasses. Pisces having jaws and tetrapod bearing limbs. Let's know that. That means your vertebrata that I said is divided into two. Now we have Ignata, jawless fishes, then Gnatotomata, the jawed vertebrate. So again, so the jawed vertebrates now we now have Pisces and other guys. So the Pisces there will now be the one that is having the chondrochitis and what? Osteochitis. So the other vertebrates that we also now have is now the amphibians, reptiles, aves, and mammals. So moving on. So just note that Pisces is having chondrochitis and what? Osteochitis, and chondrochitis for cartilaginous fishes, osteochitis for bony fishes. Moving on. So chondrochitis characteristics now. This is a lot of characteristics, but they are just basically there are some that you have to know them, and there are some that you just need to just know them. They are just may know. Okay. So they are mostly marine. I told you guys that life is starting with marine life. That's why even your cells, the sodium and chloride they ion outside is always more than the one inside. It's also like your cells are in marine environment. Okay, they contain a pair of jaws, and their jaws are very powerful. Nice one. Whale sharks are the second largest vertebrate in the largest and the largest fish. Some whale sharks measure up to 15 meters in length. That makes sense. That means your whale is a what? Is a cartilaginous fish. The guy don't get bone and they do wonders. Okay, the mouth is present ventrally. Ventrally means in the front, she get just like yours. Then they contain cartilaginous in the skeleton. The deposit of calcium salt provides strength to it, even in the bones too. What is giving your bone strength majorly is collagen. But when you talk about hardness, it's your what? Calcium ion. Okay, genotocot is present throughout life. So the skin for these guys, sorry. For this guy, they are under vertebrate. Notochord is not. It is not present as notochord throughout life. It is present at their as vertebral column. I think that would be a typo. Okay, so the skin is covered by minute tooth-like structure called placoid scales. They have 5 to 7 pairs of gills. For these ones, I still may know. The gills exchange occurs through the water current that passes over the gills. That's just it. They respire through their gills. They respire through their gills. They are poikilothermic or cold-blooded animal and lack the capacity to regulate their internal body temperature. That's the definition for being poikilothermic. They could not what? Regulate their internal body temperature. The heart is two-chambered in fishes, but just generally in Pisces, they have two-chambered heart, one ventricle and one auricle. They contain a brain and a spinal cord, which is protected by vertebrae. It also has sensory cells in the lateral line organ, which detect all kinds of vibration. Lateral line, that's very important. That lateral line in fishes, all fishes, is for detecting vibrations, motion, water pressure surrounding them. That's why if a fish is not looking at you and you just tap the water, they run. It's because their lateral line detected the vibration. That's the idea. So it also has sensories. Okay. The digestive system comprises the mouth, pharynx, stomach, intestine, and cloaca on the ventral side. Cloaca has a dual function in females and also acts as a reproductive organ apart from excretion, reproduction and excretion for their cloaca. Male and females are separate and have internal fertilization. Skates and some sharks are oviparous in the sense that they lay eggs. Most of the sharks are ovoviviparous. Ovoviviparous means that they lay eggs, swallow the egg, and now give birth to it alive. And few are viviparous, they give birth to their young ones alive. So examples we have sharks, ray skates, sawfishes, and chimeras. You can just take note of these guys. But the one that you will most likely see in your exam is sharks, rays, and skates. So shark was a cartilaginous fish. Don't forget that. Then the bony fishes now. So Osteochard is a class of jawed fishes having a bone in the skeleton. Don't forget, chondrocytes have what? Cartilaginous in the skeleton. It is the largest class of vertebrae and includes a diverse group of marine and fresh water bony fishes. The other vertebrates are cartilaginous fishes, which are included in the class chondrocytes. Okay, so the osteochires now. Osteochires is a class of fishes included. I've explained it a lot of time, which includes all vertebrates. Jawless fishes are included in the word division Agnata and the class Cyclostomata, but we are not concerned. Shall you get? So Gnatostomata is divided into two super classes. I've explained this before. Pisces and what? uh, Pisces basically. And Pisces is osteochires and chondrochites, but we are concerned with osteochires. So I want the sarcopterygy and what actinopterygy, lobe fin fishes and ray fin fishes. That's what you just need to know. Let's not go so deep. There are deeper stuff, so we are just trying to maintain our lane. Moving on. Their characteristics now. With more than 29,000 species of bony fishes, which is the largest class of vertebrates. The largest class in invertebrates now is what? Arthropods, if you guess well. So it includes both marine and freshwater fishes. Most of the commercially used fishes are included in this class. The endoskeleton is made up of bones. That's where your tilapia and co. They. So they contain a swim bladder or air bladder which provides buoyancy to them to prevent sinking. The swim bladder also facilitates gaseous exchange. Bony fishes contain four pairs of gills. A protective covering on a bony flap known as operculum protects the gills. You know what an operculum is? So they have operculum here. They are poikilotomic too. Yeah, some of the larger marine fishes like tuna show some level of endothermy, like in-out temperature. That's the idea. The heart is two-chambered, contains one auricle and one ventricle. Long fishes have three-chambered heart with two auricles and one ventricle. But just know that generally your Pisces have two what? Two chambered heart. That's important to know. That's what they will ask you. Just pick two. The brain has a small olfactory lobe and cerebellum. Cerebellum because it has two L, it is used for legwork. While cerebrum because it has R, it is used for reasoning. That's what I always used to remember that. Olfactory lobe for what? For smelling. There are 10 pairs of cranial nerves present. The lateral line, of course, they also have it here. You know what it does now? It's like it sense organs and detecting vibrations, pressures, and co. So the sensory unit is called neuromat. It helps in sensing. Okay, I've explained that. Sexes are mostly separate, but some are hermaphrodite. They are mostly oviparous and lay huge amounts of eggs. Fertilization is mostly external and direct development. So example here we have what ray fishes, marine bony fishes, freshwater bony fishes, aquarium bony fishes, lobe fin fishes, and long fishes. Just know that they are bony fishes. Simple. Okay. So amphibians now. So after amphibians we see reptilians and we're done. So amphibians. So the word amphi is a kind of from a word that is kind of two-sided. When you talk about amphi is kind of like they are referring to their characteristics having two something. That's the idea. So the organism belongs to the class Amphibia, fall under the chordata phylum of the kingdom Animalia. These are multicellular vertebrates that live both on land and in water. That's where the amphi comes in. Land and water beings. Two beings, amphibians. That's the idea. This class includes about 3,000 species. You don't need to know those thousand, blah, blah, blah. So they are the first cold-blooded animals to have appeared on land. Like they came on land. They are the first. So their characteristics now. So they can live on both land and water. They are ectothermic animals found in warm environment. Their body is very into head and trunk. There's no neck here. The tail may be present or absent. The skin is smooth, rough, without any scales. Note that there's no scales in amphibia, but with glands that make it moist. They have two pairs of limbs for locomotion. They respire to lungs and skin. In fact, lungs and skin, and also mouth. She get. That's why they have three modes of respiration. They have the what? Buccal respiration for the mouth, cutaneous respiration for the skin, then the pulmonary respiration for the lungs. The heart is three chambered. Nice one. Then excretory material includes ammonia and urea. Ammonia and urea. In human beings, we cannot excrete ammonia. We have to convert ammonia to urea, then excrete urea in form of urine. That's for human beings, for mammalia, basically. The lateral line is present during their development. You know what the lateral line is used for. The sexes are separate and fertilization is usually external. However, in salamanders, fertilization is internal. Salamander actually looks like a reptile. It looks like the lizard. That's like if you browse it now, you see a lizard-like being. So development is indirect with metamorphosis. Breeding occurs in water. Breeding in the sense that giving birth to their young ones. The copulatory organs are absent in males. So frogs and salamanders are here. So let's look at their classification. So we have the apoda, rhodella, and anura. Apoda are the what? Gymnophila. These people look like snakes. That's the idea there. So they are without legs, so they look like snakes. Then the Urodela, they are the caudata. These guys they look like the lizard, yes. They look like lizard, salamander, yeah. They look like lizard. While in Anura, these are the way you have your frogs and toes. So Anura, Ura, the word Uru is always referring to tail. So Inura means like they don't have it. That's just the idea. So reptilia now. These were the first class of organisms to adapt to life on land. They are believed to have evolved from the amphibians millions of years ago. There are about 10,000 different species of reptiles on Earth. They are cold-blooded animals belonging to the phylum Chordata of animal kingdom. So that's the last one we're discussing actually. So they are the They are cold-blooded animals, yes. So and they also believed to be coming from where? From from amphibians, yeah. The skull of reptile is modified that gives reptiles an efficient and powerful jaw action. The modification also makes the skull light. Note that skull is not just the cranium. Skull also involves the face. Shege. So their jaw too is also part of the skull. So the characteristics now. So they are creeping and burrowing terrestrial animals. They are just on land and they have skills. This is where the skill life begins. Shege. So they are cold-blooded animals. Yes, their skin is dry without any glands. They have skills. The body is divided into head, neck. They have neck here, trunk and tail. The respiration takes place with the help of lungs. Limbs may be they use just lungs here. There's no gills because they don't go in water. Limbs may or may not be present. If they have limbs, there are two pairs of pendactyl limbs. Pendactyl means they are. Don't forget, limb is like the hand. Then pendactyl is that mean they have fingers, 5 fingers. Penta, she get each bearing claws like the nails. Snakes do not have limbs. The heart is three-chambered. In fact, some people say it's actually three and a half. She get. So why? However, crocodiles have four-chambered heart. So so you can if you see three and a half in your option, go for it. But most of the results is saying three. That's why I just added three. So reptiles do not have external hair opening. That's why most of the time, if you are stoning a lizard and the stone is dropping beside the lizard will not move because they won't hear it only except if they see it. So you get that's one thing about lizards, and that's why they are very easy to kill. So reptiles do not have external ears. That's that. Reptiles are generally uricotelic. That means they secrete their uric acid. Their own ammonia will be converted to uric acid. Fertilization is internal. The oviparous and the eggs are very yolky. Development is direct. Examples are what? Snakes, tortoises, lizards, and crocodiles. So thank you very much. So we are going to see this evening for questions and all.